Eric, the Kansas State Wildcats have been hailed as one of the top 3-4 teams in the Big 12 going into 2024. And this is almost reminiscent. I saw a post about this on Twitter, almost reminiscent of the way that we talked about Texas Tech being a lock for Arlington last year. They were the sexy pick. And then they just weren't that good. They regressed under Joey McGuire. What are the odds that Kansas State's in that same boat? Are we hyping up this team too much?
The odds are there. I'm not going to sit here with my purple tinting glasses, which are firmly on, by the way. I'll get to that. You have the opportunity to go 7-6 or 7-5, 8-4. Iowa State a few years back, I don't know if you remember, I think it was like 2021. They were picked to do amazing. I think they finished 7-5. So
supposed to be their best season all time.
But they ended up the most together team of all time.
Yeah. Matt Campbell's real good at the whole togetherness thing.
I can sit here and I can give you a bunch of reasons. First, what I want to do is sell everyone on Avery Johnson. Mm-hmm. You just came off a Big 12 championship 2 years ago with Will Howard, and Will Howard's coming into the next season, and he is getting his job battled for by Avery Johnson. Avery Johnson legitimately took productive snaps, had to be benched in the Texas Tech game, where Avery Johnson then ran for 5 touchdowns in one single game. You're talking about a quarterback that just transferred to Ohio State who would have lost his job against Avery Johnson at Kansas State. So, if you watch that bowl game, man, there's sparks, and I think he's going to be something special. Now, when we get to our quarterback rankings later, I'm going to show him some love. I'm not over the moon like some K-State fans are. I think here's what can happen. Kansas State drops a loss early in the season. Let it be 2 seasons ago. We lost to the Green, the Green Wave. I'm trying.
Tulane.
Oh my goodness! Who
is on the schedule again on the road?
On the schedule again. Listen, that I will never again take them for granted. I mean, it kind of seems like a K-State thing to do. And now my overall point is just that the Big 12 is kind of like there isn't a powerful team, and there are a few weak teams, but there's 16 teams, which is kind of crazy to say. 10, probably 10 to 12 of those are pretty competitive. Yep. So is it crazy to have a team that's picked to do well go 8-4? I don't think so. Now, do I think we will? I have us going 11-1, 10-2. Very high standards, but I think we reloaded. We got Dante Cephas at wide receiver. We got Avery Johnson taking over. Obviously showed his stuff against NC State in the Pop-Tart Bowl. And then you have Dylan Edwards, who just transferred out of Colorado. Yep. Not to mention, he won't be starting. I think what he will be doing is going to slot wide receiver while we have DJ Giddens take a majority of the snaps as he's earned. It's going to be a dangerous offense. Defense, reloaded there. We got Monroe out of I'm trying to think. He transferred out of UTEP. So you're looking at players that we wanted to get in the offseason who we had targeted, and we got him. So, if the coach's plan comes, when he sits in the offseason, he goes, this is how we're going to win the Big 12 championship next year. He got all those players he wanted.
The descent that I will give on Avery Johnson, I think that he could be a top 3, top 5 quarterback for sure in a loaded Big 12 quarterback class. Look, there are guys like Cam Rising and Shadur Sanders and Noah Fafita who could make a huge splash this season. And Avery Johnson's name is in the middle of that billboard. What if he is Blake Shapen? Somebody's throwing something right now. The reason I say that, Blake Shapen's first start was in the Big 12 championship game. He had come in due to injury to Gary Bohannon, and he breaks a facility record for most consecutive completions at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, a pretty damn big facility. And then he just doesn't really do anything big against. We were all talking about how, Blake Shapen could be a top 3 quarterback in the Big 12. The dude looked great, but the sample size was too small. Is the sample size too small for Avery Johnson?
Yes, it is. He came in and he came in against Missouri, averaged 6.9 yards per carry in that game. We didn't play him in the fourth quarter. I genuinely think we probably would have beat Missouri if we played him more. And then he came in versus Tech, ran for 5 touchdowns. We also had Cooper Beebe. Yeah. Amazing. And then came in and played fantastic against NC State. With all that being said, you can't tell me a true freshman is the next thing since sliced bread just off those 3 games. Do I think he's a fantastic football player? And do I think he's going to be top 5, top 3 in the Big 12 quarterback at the end of the season? Yes. But you're absolutely right. There is a dissenting opinion. It is correct. We are overhyped, but this is the greatest QB prospect in our program's history. And I did want to connect to something you said earlier to Blake Shapen. I don't even know his name, and I know this is messed up. The Texas Tech quarterback. He was the highest rated quarterback signee of all time for them. And now he's battling for the starting job 3 seasons later.
Baron Morton.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I mean, college football is a crazy thing, but what seems like when the writers, when he got on campus, they knew. And he's recruiting too, man. We're seeing a recruiting surge as well. It's an exciting time to be a football fan for K-State. After my time, when I got there in 2018, we still had Snyder for his last year, and we should have lost to Kansas that year. So
yeah.
We had a rough time.
That was not a very good Kansas team in 2018.
It was not a very good Kansas team.
Different time.
You said they regressed, Texas Tech did. The one thing that I would say against that is Chris Klieman, besides a COVID year, has not regressed. It would be a first season to regress. I know you could kind of make an argument for this year, but we also won the Pop-Tart Bowl. So it's like, did we have a bad season? I just think we met expectations, maybe a little under. Still, man, super excited about this upcoming season.
I think the only one that that game in Ames, I know it's kind of haunts Kansas State fans, but that would have been a fun one to win for Kansas State. It would have been a fun one to win.
Oh, this season?
Yeah.
Dude. I don't want to talk about it. I plead the fifth, man. That hurt.
Still, it was my sophomore year at Baylor was that COVID year, and Kansas State came to town, and it's one of the saddest things I've ever seen. 2-7 Baylor getting its second win against Kansas State that night, and I thought, Chris Kleiman's going to get fired, and he didn't. He hasn't gotten fired. Things worked out pretty well for them, actually. Before we close this one and go into our Big 12 quarterback power rankings, I think that there are easy stretches of schedule for Kansas State that will aid them in a conference title. Look at Colorado, easy. Houston, Arizona, Cincinnati are 3 straight games in a row. There are at least 6 guaranteed wins, and most Big 12 teams don't have that liberty. I think Kansas State's going to benefit from that. Moving forward, let's talk Big 12 quarterbacks and how Kansas State can benefit from a Big 12 quarterback. Is it the top of the power rankings? Maybe this is Locked On Big 12, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's show is brought to you by Monopoly Go. Look, the classic Monopoly is great. It's one of my favorite things to play when I'm sitting around the campfire with a bunch of my friends. And now I can do it when there's not a campfire available on the go from Monopoly Go on the App Store or Google Play. Game off. We got to pause here to talk about Monopoly Go and how right now you can team up with your friends. Build unique stickers you can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes. Cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with. Hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or robot pachinko machine. There's always new timed events to help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything that you win or rent frenzies. There's something fun to discover at Monopoly Go. Download it now for free on Google Play or the App Store. It's Monopoly Go. Game on. Today's show is also brought to you by Yahoo Finance. Look, Yahoo Finance is where I go as a 23-year-old young buck to learn how to do money. I have no idea what I'm doing. For more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor. So if I have a Roth IRA is, a 401k, I've got to learn all that stuff. Yahoo Finance will consolidate that information and show it to me in one place to keep it incredibly easy to manage it all. When it comes to your financial future, you think you've done it all. You've saved, you've researched, you've invested all you can. Now you need to take those investments to the next level with Yahoo Finance. With a community of over 90 million users each month, their real strength is helping you on your way to financial success. For comprehensive financial news analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, yahoofinance.com. The number one financial destination, yahoofinance.com. That is yahoofinance.com.